Thanos and Darkseid, two of the greatest cosmic threats in their respective universes. So what would happen if these two titans ever actually met in the field of battle? Now, some might say that these two are essentially the same person, and those people would kind of be right. But let's not get ahead of ourselves and instead take a look at the history of these two cosmic fighters. Darkseid was first introduced in Forever People #1, 1971, although it should be noted that he cameoed in Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen in November of 1970. After Jack Kirby created some of the most iconic Marvel characters alongside Stan Lee, he decided to take his creative genius over to DC, where he was allowed to basically create his own mythology within the Fourth World. What followed were the New Gods and what would become one of the most powerful cosmic evils in the DC universe. Prince Urax was the second in line to the throne of Apocalypse. After he murdered his brother, he took control of the Omega Force and was transformed into the being known as Darkseid. He fell in love and had a son known as Kalibak, but his mother had his wife murdered. It is said that Darkseid lost what little bit of emotion he had left at this point, and so he had his mother murdered, allowing him to take control of Apocalypse once and for all. Now the ruler of Apocalypse, Darkseid had a son, Orion. While the forces of Apocalypse and New Genesis were constantly at war, though, Darkseid decided to create a truce with the High Father. The two exchanged sons, allowing for a sort of peace that exists between the two entities now. While Darkseid was all-powerful and revered as a god, he wished for more power and he sought out the anti-life equation, which would eliminate free will from the known universe. His search would lead him to Earth several times, where he would fight against Superman and the rest of the Justice League. Darkseid is a new god, which gives him unknown strength, stamina, healing, invulnerability, and it makes him seemingly immortal. There are times when it seems like Superman can go toe-to-toe with this god, yet others where Darkseid can flick him aside with the barest of effort. Wielding the Omega Force, Darkseid has telekinesis, telepathy, cosmic awareness, as well as shooting the powerful Omega beams and traveling through dimensions. He has shown that he is shrewd and he's a ruthless tactician who has no issues with wiping out whole worlds to obtain his goals. When it comes to the Mad Titan, Thanos, many say that he is merely a copy of Darkseid. And those people would actually be right. You see, after Jack Kirby left for DC, Jim Starlin was given the reins to expand Marvel's cosmic heroes. Thanos was originally created with the idea of DC's Metron, the skinny guy that sits in a chair. Thanos also still loves a chair. And the editors told Starlin that they liked the idea, but that he should change the appearance of him to be more like the Fourth World's big bad, Darkseid. Thanos first appeared in the Invincible Iron Man number 55 in 1973, 2 years after Darkseid. Thanos was born on the world of Titan and is one of the Eternals. He carries a deviant gene, however, which altered his appearance. As he aged, Thanos fell in love with the idea of death and the physical embodiment of it. Thanos would then go on to seek ultimate power, journeying the Earth to acquire the Cosmic Cube, although he is stopped by the heroes of Earth. Eventually, Thanos would go on to acquire the Infinity Stones and create the Infinity Gauntlet, hoping to earn Death's love by wiping out half the universe. In terms of power, Thanos has used technology and magic to alter his body. He possesses super strength, stamina, speed, healing, and is considered immortal. He's also shown that he is able to project energy from his body. Now, for this battle, we all have to agree that Darkseid doesn't have the anti-life equation and that Thanos doesn't have the Infinity Gauntlet. Both of these elements would make the beings able to literally destroy the entire universe, and it would be a pointless fight. If Darkseid has the anti-life equation, he would just destroy everything in front of him in the Marvel Universe because no one would have free will. Just like if Thanos has the Infinity Gauntlet, a simple snap, and he would disappear Darkseid and probably everybody else in the DC Universe. So maybe later we can argue over which universe would be the worst to try and save, but that's a different video. The world of Apocalypse is at war. Forces from another dimension have made the ultimate mistake of invading Darkseid's world. His spies tell him that a being known as Thanos is searching for a mysterious power known as the anti-life equation. He believes that Darkseid possesses it, or at the very least, can tell him its location after he spits it between his broken lips. It began with an assault by Pyrrhus, little more than space rabble. Their forces were met by swarms of parademons, and the lands of Apocalypse were showered in the blood of death. Arriving next was the Black Order, but they were met by Darkseid's furies. These special warriors fought to a standstill, soldiers falling on both sides, and Darkseid knew that his forces would have to be replenished. Upon the field of battle, the being known as Thanos fights all of those around him. His Black Order dealing with the Furies as he cuts a path through the swarms of parademons, and finally, there is a lull and Thanos looks up, and he sees that he has finally gotten the attention of the almighty Darkseid, the Lord of Apocalypse, who steps onto the battlefield, his armies parting in his path. Pleasantries are exchanged, demands are uttered, insults are hurled, and the battle is met. The two cosmic titans exchange blows, feeling each other out, and with each punch, Apocalypse quakes beneath their feet. Tremors are felt throughout the galaxy as fists meet flesh. The opening flurries are finished, and Darkseid has been tested. Thanos is confident, moving in for the kill, and he moves fast, throwing lightning punches, kicks, elbows, knees. He beats Darkseid to a standstill, throwing him to the dusty ground, drawing blood. Darkseid chuckles. He stands, possibly wiping a bit of blood from his mouth. He has faced the strongest members of the Justice League. He has gone blow to blow with the last Kryptonian. He is Darkseid. He moves faster, sending tremors throughout Thanos' body, beating the Mad Titan to the ground, hammering him until he can't stand. And when this is done, Darkseid dusts himself off and makes ready to return to his throne, confident his overwhelming force will shatter Thanos' army. Yet the Mad Titan isn't done yet, and he stands, lashing out an energy beam that hits Darkseid square in the back. The forces of Apocalypse gasp, unsure of what has become of their god. Yet as the smoke clears, Darkseid stands unfazed. His eyes glow, and the Omega beams cut across the battlefield, Thanos finally meeting the oblivion that he worships. All right, guys, so of course, in these standard versus videos, I always go to ask you on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter at Comicstorian, what you think would happen. And for the record, I just loved how when I tweeted out Thanos versus Darkseid, the first couple of responses I got, and quite a few of them are, oh, they resolved this in Death Battle. So let me be very clear here. I don't care if they resolved it in Death Battle. This is my video. This is my opinions on how it happened and what's going to go on with that. I know the people at Death Battle. Death Battle's cool. I like what they do there, but it's their own portrayal of it. It's their own version of it, and this is my version of it. So if I do another one that Death Battle's already done and don't even know it because I don't actually watch Death Battle, well, I'm apologizing now. But either way, I'm going to skip all the people that tried to tell me about Death Battle in the Twitter response. If you want to see me rage, just go ahead and do that, and then we'll have some fun. We'll talk about Death Battle. I'll rage out. Either way, let's look at responses that don't have that. So Darkseid versus Thanos, you guys said, I got Ahmed Cruz said, Darkseid without a doubt, but the fact that he always gets beaten up badly disappoints me because I love the character. Don't get me wrong, I know he is fighting against gods and more powerful beings than Thanos on Earth, but I still think the character needs a renewal. Hopefully we get to see him in the Snyder Cut of Justice League. When he tweeted this out, there was no official announcement, I believe, of the Snyder Cut. I think I tweeted out my thing like a day before the announcement. So yes, we're getting the Snyder Cut, and we'll get to see what the Darkseid in that looks like. Saddest boy ever says Darkseid with the new gods beats Thanos with the new order, but Thanos' full armada will beat Darkseid's Apocalypse. I disagree with that, but it's a good take on this whole thing. Then there's a follow-up from Jose, it looks like, where he says Thanos is piloting his Thanos copter and Darkseid has a couch to sit on. So I guess the idea is that with the copter, he would win versus the couch. I guess if we're fighting a helicopter versus a couch, yeah, helicopter would definitely win that one. From T. Hugo Burno, Thanos, even with the gauntlet, doesn't have a chance. And then somebody followed up, his gauntlet doesn't work in the other universe anyway. Sad face, sad face, sad face emoji. There's 5 of them. I only said it 3 times. You know what I'm saying here. Oliver Jindal says Thanos is a single person who has some kind of enhanced biology that puts him on par with someone like Captain America or maybe Thor. Darkseid is a multiversal god who goes toe-to-toe with Superman and can plan to evade the wrath of Perpetua and not die. Darkseid wins easily. Following up with that, though, because I loved whenever somebody would put a comment on this particular one, somebody else would then respond to it. I mean, from Jean-Paul Gaudet, we'll go with that. I mean, Thor has a pretty decent chance against Superman depending on how you define magic between the Marvel and DC universes. And there is a pretty large power gap between Thor and Cap. I don't disagree with your conclusion, though. And then they seem to go into like a whole debate back and forth for quite some time. But I think the general consensus is that Darkseid would win if they just straight up fight. And on top of that, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Give me the next verses you want. We're already working on Marvel Spider-Man versus DC Spider-Man. Yes, that is a thing. And I will see you guys next time right here.